We are all serving customers. Wait for 3 hours.
Before heading overseas for a business trip, I rushed to the bank to open an account. However, the man at the counter, who turned out to be the assistant branch manager, provided sloppy service, and I was forced to wait for a long time. I had no choice but to wait, but business hours ended, and I couldn't make the payment on this day. The man laughed off my inconvenience and told me to leave despite making me wait. The $100 million deposit that was supposed to be made today didn't happen, so never mind. While waiting, I got angry at the man for his terrible customer service and made a call to someone. The man, who carelessly thought it useless to call the police, turned pale at the arrival of the person I had called. My name is Luke, 51 years old. Today, I intended to go to the bank to open an account, but work got busy, and I ran behind schedule. The bank closes only at 3 p.m., so I had to hurry with the procedures to make it in time today. I'm leaving for an overseas business trip tomorrow and won't be back in the USA for a while. That's why I regret not handling the procedures earlier. Anyway, I hurried to the bank. I lost my breath and arrived at the bank, crowded with customers. The counters were full, and some customers were even standing while waiting. I could imagine that I would have to wait for an hour. But I was introduced to this bank by an acquaintance who had arranged for the bank staff to take care of me upon mentioning my name. I was going to receive the service without ticket number. Excuse me, I'm I approached the male staff at the counter. He seemed to be my age or slightly older. Yes. He replied quite rudely and looked me up and down.
This isn't a job center, you know.
I came here for bank business. I didn't understand why he mentioned the job center to me. Then, the man sighed heavily.
What? With those cheap-looking clothes, I thought you were some unemployed bum.
I wish I had misheard him when he mumbled that. My clothes were quite simple, but I didn't know why he had labeled me poor. No, I mean, I had an appointment. No.
Appointment? Never heard such a name. We don't take appointments here. It's first come, first served.
Wait, that can't be right. The person who referred me wouldn't make such a communication mistake. As I tried to clarify, another bank employee approached me.
Könnte man sich schon reinpfeifen, so ein Ding. Ich glaube, da bin ich satt.
Got it. Anyway, we don't take appointments.
Sowas.
Wait with this number.
Okay.
Nutella.
David, as he was called, brushed me off with his careless attitude and walked away.
3 bis 4 Euro.
It is unexpected that he was the assistant branch manager, but can he deal with customers like that? I thought to myself, but I waited my turn quietly. Since all seats were taken by other customers, I stood, but according to the number on the monitor, my number was still ahead. Looking around, I noticed that the other customers were dressed in fine suits or clean, high-end clothes, all seemingly wealthy. This bank, located in a wealthy downtown area, seemed to cater to a clientele of well-off individuals. In my shirt and shorts, I might have stood out awkwardly among them. As David mentioned previously, he responded to other rich customers with a smile on his face. He had a polite service that was different from how he treated me, and I felt the difference in treatment. The crowd had grown since I arrived, indicating an even longer wait time from now. Then, a man who looked like a typical elite businessman walked in and spoke to David.
You have a reservation, right? We've been expecting you. Please come this way.
Despite claiming they didn't accept reservations, David prioritized the customer, who arrived after me. I rushed to the counter where David was. It turns out you do take reservations. Right. I'm really in a hurry here. Can you do something? I need to open an account.
Also Premium Gelato Takeaway.
We are all serving
13 Euro für 1
Wait
Kilo.
for 3 hours.
Despite my attempt
Also
to
ein halbes
negotiate,
Kilo wäre
David
6,50.
dismissed me without even looking at my face.
Other customers are also waiting patiently.
300 Gramm wären
We
4
can give
Euro,
you
knapp 4
special
Euro.
treatment.
I
Das
was
ist fair,
forced
oder?
to take a new number and wait again. But the way David treated me left me feeling irritated.
Die sind
Though he
aber
told
alle
me
in der
to wait
gleichen
for
Ecke,
3
also ist
hours,
egal.
it was already past noon.
Da gehen wir gleich hin.
The bank's counter service typically ends
Da
at 3
gehen wir gleich
p.m.,
hin.
and waiting for 3 hours would mean I'd miss the deadline. As my anxiety grew, I kept checking the monitor, but my number never appeared. After an hour, the
Italien
crowds
muss man
broke
sich
out,
so einen
and the
richtigen
monitor
Eisbecher
shows a
gönnen. Ja,
number
probieren
close
wir
to
gleich.
mine. Just as I
Oh la
thought
la.
my turn was coming up, the next number called was
Spaghetti-Eis
one after mine.
zentrifugiert. Das Eis aus der
At the same
Zentrifuge.
time, I heard a bank employee calling out,
Aber geraten erster besser,
Customer with
was?
ticket number 312. Please proceed
Was bringt es, wenn es
to counter
zentrifugiert wird?
"What? That's not my number."
Geht da ins Wasser raus?
My
Oder?
number had been skipped. There was no way I wouldn't have noticed it being called, as I was paying close attention. Deciding that it was
300
open to
Gramm Eis, ja, das hört sich sehr
complain, I
gut an.
approached the bank employee once more. "Excuse me, I've been waiting for a
Eine Art
while,
Smoothie,
but my
ja.
number got skipped."
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Let me check with another staff member.
Nee, ich würde lieber ein
I
Eis
asked
haben.
another bank employee who was a David, and she apologized and tried to get me
Lieber
through.
eine Eiscreme.
But then David showed up, and the employee's demeanor turned somber.
What did you do?
Ein Shake.
Assistant Manager David, we skipped this customer's number by mistake.
The bank employee explained nervously to David, and he chuckled through his nose upon seeing me.
You're done here. Go handle something else.
Und jetzt
Yes.
echt ein Mossi. Ein
At
Mossi im
David's
Bier.
stern command, the employee quietly left.
Mossi
Assistant
im Bier.
manager, I've been waiting here for a while. When am I going to be called? I asked sarcastically, but David just grinned.
If your number was skipped, just line up again. Maybe you were zoning out and didn't notice.
That's
Ja, den
ridiculous.
raus.
I already used the bathroom and kept looking at the monitor.
Da ist er.
It's impossible to
Zählt es
skip a
als...
customer's
Der
number.
lebt noch.
Then David laughed at
Junge,
my
der lebt
clothes.
noch.
Wearing such cool-looking clothes lowers the bank's dignity. Come back in something nicer.
I looked at my
Junge,
outfit.
der lebt echt noch. Also
It
bevor er
wasn't
weiterfliegt,
anything
Leute.
fancy, just a simple and modest shirt and shorts.
Einmal
I
Ausrufezeichen
pride
Mossi,
myself
der
on simple
zählt.
designs and quality materials, so being called poor was an insult.
Geht's jetzt gut? Ne, jetzt nicht mehr.
Just so you know, this
Ihm ging's
is a
vielleicht
designer
kurz gut,
brand.
aber
Do you harass customers based on their looks?
ich habe ihn vom Hangover
The
befreit.
designer
Mann.
clothes. I'm in charge here while the branch manager is away. It's only natural to be conscious of
Spaghetti-Eis, wenn
suspicious
es
customers.
Schokai echte
If you
gibt.
wanted proper service, you should have lined up again.
Ich schau
But
mal,
I
ich glaube nicht, dass
was.
ich Spaghetti-Eis
Oh,
habe.
wait a minute. As
Free
I tried to
protein? No,
argue,
thank you.
David quickly returned to his post. Stuck with my irritation and nowhere else to turn, I found myself waiting yet again.
Excuse me, mister.
Perhaps
in Thailand
because I
kannst du
had
an
been
jeder
sitting
Ecke
there
essen.
for so long, another bank employee tried to approach me. But David noticed and came over.
You handle that
Jetzt da, du
customer
bist doch
over
in
there.
Thailand öfter
I've got
dabei.
this under control.
Du musst doch wissen, wie
The
teuer
bank
das ist.
employee, halted by David,
Okay,
gave
1
me a
Euro
worried
wird mittlerweile
glance,
schon schwer, aber
seemingly torn about
1,50
following his order.
für 1,50 kriegst du
Come
alles
on.
Mögliche.
I'm giving the orders here. Off you go.
Ja, eben in
David,
Legalküchen
who
für
has no
1,50 kriegst du
patience,
eigentlich fast jedes
forces the
Gericht.
bank employee away.
Was, also
I
Damsang.
frowned and glared at him,
Damsang,
and he
also
responded
je
with a
nachdem, wie du es
condescending sales
bestellst.
smile.
Kostet
We
eigentlich nicht mehr als
prioritized other
1,50.
customers who were ahead. So please wait a bit longer.
Wenn du es am Straßenrand isst.
Please hurry.
Das
I'm
kannst du
really
am
in a
Restaurant
rush
essen, dann
here.
kostet natürlich mehr, aber
I
am
was sitting all the
Straßenrand
time,
um die
and my
1,50 ist der
frustration
Normalpreis.
grew, and I responded gruffly. David's facade dropped to a serious look
Ja,
for
der hat
a
keinen
moment,
Kater mehr.
but then he resumed his fake smile and returned
Jo,
to
Marv,
his work.
gutes Duschen.
With nothing else to do but wait, I found myself observing the people coming and going. Eventually, I noticed the interactions between the bank employees and David. Even though he was busy, David seemed to be just directing traffic and
Also wir haben
giving
die
orders to
Nordseite
the
gesehen von der
employees.
Altstadt. Ich würde sagen, jetzt
Understandably,
gehen wir noch
managing staff
schauen den
during
Marktplatz
such
kurz
busy
an.
times is crucial, but it seemed like they were intimidated by him.
Könnten auch im Karussell fahren.
2 hours
eine Runde.
later, I yawned several
dann,
times and realized that the number of customers
Südseite
had
zurück.
decreased significantly, and it was
Konto
almost the
performant.
closing time.
Konto
A
performant.
few employees began the closing
Einzelgänge.
procedures. Then, David approached me with a smirk.
Oh, still here. We're closing for today. Come back another time. Or were you planning to squat here? This isn't a shelter for the homeless like you. Get out.
Deep down, I knew David had no intention of serving me. I had hoped to make my deposit today, but because of him, it was too late. Do you always treat customers you don't like this way?
We have the right to choose our
Wahrscheinlich unbezahlbar,
customers.
das
It's
Ding.
only natural to be cautious of odd ones.
Don't judge people by their appearance. It's rude. David had labeled me as a suspicious customer based on how I looked. I'm just a guy over 50, not acting suspicious in any way. It's unacceptable to judge and treat customers differently based on their looks. The other bank employees watched us from a distance, looking uneasy, but none dared to confront David. He must have pressured them into submission, making it impossible for them to oppose him. It was a mistake to come to the bank where people like you work. I wonder what the branch manager would say if they saw how you treat customers. I said sarcastically, but David just laughed it off. Unable to bear it any longer, I asked him, "Are you really okay with this?"
What?
I confirmed with David. I was ready with my next move if he refused to provide sincere service. Pulling out my cell phone from my pocket, I pushed a number.
Are you going to call the police? It's useless to do that. On the other hand, the police will get mad at you for obstructing business.
Ignoring David, I called the person who had referred me to the bank. The phone was answered after 2 rings. Hello, is this the branch manager?
So, jetzt spinnt bestimmt gleich wieder der
The
NL-Stick.
$100 million
Der Zweier.
deposit that was supposed to be made
Der
today
Zweier spinnt
didn't
immer, wenn man
happen,
den
so never
Rucksack
mind.
bewegt.
I told
Okay,
him so
ne?
on the phone.
Why are you, an ordinary person, on the phone with our branch manager? He's too busy to even talk to the staff here. Or
So,
are you talking about a
abbezahlen.
different branch manager?
No, I actually called the branch manager of this bank directly on his personal number.
What? How is someone like you connected to the branch manager?
David's exclamation caused a stir among the other bank employees.
Okay, please.
I just happened to have a business connection. The branch manager recommended this bank to me.
Yeah.
The branch manager introduced me to the bank's membership, which promised added interest on savings accounts, preferential exchange rates for foreign currency, and complimentary health
17.
checkups, among other services.
Thank you.
Furthermore, I heard premium members with over $1 million would receive services even after retirement. I plan to deposit some money before going on a business trip overseas. The branch manager said to prioritize guiding me. Didn't you hear anything about it?
From the branch manager.
David began to panic, casting glances at the other employees.
Da ist er doch, ETH2
They all seemed
Disconnect.
clueless and shook their heads.
See, not just me. They all said
Oh,
they didn't hear
Mann,
about
ich bin
it.
zufrieden.
You were trying to trick me, weren't you?
Also mit Pizza
I'll
oder
sue you
Calzone
for
jetzt in
obstruction
Italien
of
echt nichts
business
falsch machen.
if you
Ne?
don't leave quietly.
David, relieved that he wasn't at fault,
Calzone war, glaube ich,
pointed at me
59.
triumphantly.
Hier
Just then,
4,50
I heard
und
footsteps and turned to
Coperto
look.
natürlich wieder.
No, I didn't tell
2
David.
Euro.
Today, Mr. Miller was supposed to come in to open an account, and I
Ich
told him
weiß,
to ensure
ich
you were
weiß nur
well
immer noch
taken
nicht.
care of.
Da ist es doch, hier, Lola.
Everyone's
Leute,
gaze shifted to the calm,
schaut
low
euch an.
voice.
Soll ich mal ein
The
Bild
branch
machen auf Ihren
manager appeared from the
Discord-Post?
staff entrance.
Branch manager. I thought you were at the headquarters today.
I was, but I hurried back after receiving a call from Mr. Miller in a taxi.
The branch manager glared at David, who suddenly lost his bluster and looked like a scolded cat.
I
Hat
sent
die
you an
Lola in
email.
Discord? Komm, das
Didn't
können
you
wir
check
posten.
it?
Email?
David fumbled for his work phone.
Da ist das Karussell.
He stopped in his tracks, staring at the screen. It seemed
war ein
he
Witz,
hadn't
natürlich fahre
noticed
ich
the
nicht
branch
mit.
manager's email.
Die armen Kinder, die kriegen einen Schock.
I didn't notice it among the other emails.
David's shaky voice
Boah, ey,
left me
was
and
ist
the
für ein
other
krasses
employees
Monument hier.
speechless. If David missed the email from
Wow,
the branch
das ist mal ein
manager,
krasses
it's
Teil.
understandable that the others were unaware. The branch manager frowned deeply, glaring at him.
How could you not notice my message?
Zweite
The branch
Weltkriegsmonument.
manager's angry voice echoed through the bank.
Dieses Seil
David
hochziehen im Berg,
visibly.
keine Ahnung.
But why
Oben
would you
steht so ein
favor
Engel.
such a man? He doesn't look wealthy at all. This poorly dressed guy.
David pointed at me, attempting to justify himself. But the more he explained, the deeper he dug his own grave.
Sieht schon cool aus.
Sorry for looking like a poor man.
Not at all. Mr. Miller is a very distinguished person.
As I saw, the branch manager hurried to defend me. David, unable to comprehend, scowled.
Branch manager. Who exactly is this man?
Watch your mouth. Mr. Miller is a businessman who owns
Leute, alle
multiple
Bilder auf
companies.
Instagram. Ihr wisst
I
Bescheid,
nodded along.
wo ihr die Bilder
I am the
findet.
president and business person of several apparel companies. I have
Was ist das
several
eigentlich für ein
stores and
Gebäude?
offices abroad,
sieht aus wie
constantly
das
traveling
Rathaus.
the world for inspections.
Ja, die
The
Beleuchtung wie
clothes
immer
I'm
halt
wearing
ultra
are
geil
from
hier.
my
Ne?
own brand, a piece I'm
Ultra geile
particularly
Beleuchtung.
proud of for its material quality.
Nicht zu hell,
I
nicht zu
also
dunkel.
own much
Eigentlich
real estate,
genau der
from
perfekte
which I
Mix.
derive a significant income.
Genau perfekt.
I was planning to
Da
deposit
sind die Italiener
$100
wirklich
million
spitze drin, richtige
before
Beleuchtung.
leaving for a business trip overseas tomorrow.
Konto always empty, aha.
$100 million.
The sheer amount left David speechless.
100
I
rote
had met the
Fenster,
branch
ja.
manager through a business acquaintance who introduced
mal.
me to the member services. It's quite rare to have a customer with a
Jünger,
sense
nee.
of $100 million.
Jo,
So I
Infinity.
become a high-value customer for the
Wünsche ich
bank.
dir auch. Danke für die ganzen
However,
Bits auch.
letting go of high-value customers
Für den
would be a
Bitkrieg.
significant
Der
loss for the
Bitskrieg.
bank. Besides,
das
if it
Gegengewicht.
was the assistant manager David's fault, the bank's reputation
Du
would be
kannst dich
damaged.
fotografieren mit diesen Strahlern.
He knows the identity of the person he harassed, and his face has turned pale. I don't really want any special treatment, but your
Kann man
bank
da
would have
rein?
been a good
Das ist ja
business
offen.
partner if he had served me like any
Mostra
other
di
customer.
pittura
I sighed deeply
sculptura.
while looking at David.
Sculptura.
Mr. Miller,
Okay, wir gehen mal
did our
rein.
David do something rude to you? Could you please tell me
Gibt's
the
eine
details?
Ausstellung?
Yes,
Ich weiß nicht, ob wir
of
Netz
course.
haben da drin, weil die
I
Mauern sehen
explained in
ziemlich
detail to
fies
the branch
aus.
manager everything that had happened since I arrived at the bank.
Ziemlich fiese Mauern.
Despite
hier.
not remembering doing anything to David,
wechseln gehe ich
he
wieder
treated
raus.
me very rudely. He never called me even after waiting for a long time. He prioritized other customers and skipped my number. When I complained, he mocked my appearance and provided terrible service.
Wer kennt den
Is
hier?
that true, David?
Leute,
The
wer
branch
kennt den?
manager, after listening to my story, questioned David with a red face. David turned pale, shaking his head repeatedly in denial.
No, it's not true. I was properly assisting the customer.
Ja.
It was just crowded
Omaggio a
today, and I
Pinocchio.
might have been a bit rough
Eine
due to the
Hommage
rush.
an Pinocchio
But I
hier.
certainly didn't mistreat Mr. Miller.
Oh, ich glaube.
Although he seemed to understand what he had done, David trembled but stubbornly refused to admit wrongdoing. Are you going
Alle
to make
möglichen, ja.
excuses?
Ja, Pinocchio,
If you
der-
sincerely admit your
Lügenbaron.
actions and apologize to me, I might forgive you.
I'm not making excuses. I really didn't do anything wrong.
I
Ansonsten eher
gave
so
him
eine
a chance to
Bilderausstellung.
apologize, but David obstinately refused to acknowledge his fault.
Ist das
However,
Expressionismus?
even if the branch manager didn't know, I, as the party involved,
Ein bisschen was
knew
von
what
Van Gogh,
David had done.
sowas, oder?
And the other bank
Wer
employees
kennt sich
who
mit
had
Kunst
witnessed
aus?
me waiting for a long time must
Das
also
hat doch
be
was von
aware.
Van Gogh hier.
Well
Himmel
then,
vor allem.
branch manager, ask them as well.
Them.
I pointed towards the bank employees and said to the branch manager, they have been handling customers for long, so they should know I was here. Moreover, that guy there tried to talk to me,
Non toccare.
but David stopped him. Before closing, one bank employee approached me,
Jo,
but
Infinity,
David
danke
prevented
mal.
him and directed
Gute
him
Nacht.
to other customers.
Ihr
How was
kennt-
David's customer service, guys? You all saw how he treated Mr. Miller, didn't you?
The branch manager approached the bank employees and sought to confirm the facts. But they hesitated to speak up and did not open their mouths.
Naja, also
Hey,
ich kenne mich mit
this
Kunst
is my
nicht so
order.
aus.
I'm asking about David's service.
While his tone
Alles
was relatively
Experten,
calm,
ja.
their continued silence seemed to push them towards reveling the truth.
Ich gebe es wenigstens zu,
I
ich
looked
bin
at
kein
David. He was staring
Kunstkenner.
silently at the bank
Da habe
employees.
ich keine Ahnung.
It was as if he was
Was gut oder
silently
schlecht ist.
pressuring them to keep their mouths shut.
Also ich meine,
Suddenly, I remembered
Das
how the
könnte
bank
auch-
employees
könnte
had appeared
es ein
cowed
Kind
in
malen,
front of
ich weiß
David.
es nicht.
I fought, Perhaps David pressured them when the branch manager wasn't present. If David has done something to you, you'd be better off growing up here now. Otherwise, you'll continue to be subjected to this.
Das Gebäude ist sehr geil.
I addressed the bank employees in this way.
Es regnet, hier wird
Wait a
alles
minute,
nass hier unten.
Mr. Miller. Why are you saying such negative things? It's almost like you suggest I've been harassing these people.
David hurriedly tried to stop me. Despite his forced smile, his awkward grin betrayed signs of anxiety. I don't know if it's true, but I thought so. It's unusual to be so frightened of
English?
you. When I spoke plainly, David stuttered.
So, what's the truth? What about you guys?
Encouraged by the branch manager, the bank employees looked at each other and seemed to make up their minds. The bank employees hesitated but finally spoke up.
Actually, when the branch manager wasn't around, the assistant branch manager gave us unreasonable orders. He spent 3 hours lecturing employees with poor sales performance and even tried to make a newly joined staff member write reports, shouting at them until they cried.
What they told us was all about severe harassment. David seemed to have been using his position as assistant branch manager to pressure his subordinates only when the branch manager wasn't present. When the branch manager was around, he pretended to be a good boss and received high ratings. However, in reality, he had been treating his subordinates poorly, especially those weaker. The bank employees were afraid they wouldn't know what David would do to them if they revealed David's behavior to the branch manager. And when I was harassed, they had no choice but to look the other way.
How long
Mr.
do you
Miller's
take
response
to
was
make
the
one?
same. When I tried to speak up, the assistant branch
How
manager
many
stopped me
days?
and told me not to handle it. Mr. Miller,
Yeah, tempo.
I am terribly sorry.
The bank employee apologized
10 hours
to
for
me
one.
with tears.
Wow.
Hey, don't say
I
that
would
in
have thought
front of
10
the
days.
branch manager.
Pretty quick.
David gestured for silence, putting his index finger to
Very
his
nice,
lips.
very nice. This is a
But the bank
traditional
employee's
Italian
accusations had
motor
already
racing.
reached the branch manager.
This is Ferrari? Ferrari?
Listening to their story,
Alfa
the branch
Romeo?
manager was shaking with
Which
anger.
one is Alfa?
So, David, you've been doing as you please while I was away,
This is Ferrari
mistreating
Alfa.
Mr. Miller
Wow,
and your subordinates.
Wait a minute.
Mille
You
grazie.
believe this guy?
If they admired you,
Buonanotte.
they wouldn't need to lie about being harassed.
David was cornered
Ferrari,
by the
Alfa
branch
Romeo,
manager's
Mann.
logic and backed
Geil.
away, unable to find an
schnitzt halt
excuse.
einfach aus seinem...
Anyway,
Was ist
I
Chestnut
cannot
nochmal?
deposit my important money in a mega bank with such people. I'm sorry to say this to the branch manager who
Eins schicken
introduced
für eine
me,
genauere
but I will cancel the
Expertise.
membership application and
Netter
look
Herr,
for
ja.
another bank.
Lamborghini,
When I
weiß ich
said
nicht.
that,
Ich weiß nicht,
the
wie diese
branch
Lambos
manager was
ausgesehen haben
deeply
früher.
apologetic.
Mr. Miller, I am truly sorry for
Walnuss,
this.
ja.
What David did will be reported to
Ah,
the
und
bank
oben ist, glaube ich,
president
noch
for
irgendwie ein
appropriate action.
Event.
As an
Irgendwas
apology,
ist da noch.
we will offer you a dedicated
Da klatschen sie
concierge
grad.
service and our utmost service. So please consider staying as a member.
The branch manager was not at
Okay,
fault,
die Altstadt da
but
hinten
he
hört
bore
ja eigentlich schon wieder auf.
responsibility
Ne?
for overlooking David's
Wir könnten
reckless
noch eine
actions.
kleine...
I will leave
Wir könnten noch
David's
nach hinten
punishment
und
to
so
you,
links
but I
zurückkommen.
do not want to deposit
Komm,
my
wir schauen
money in
noch
a
mal.
bank where
Ist
the
ja nicht
staff
groß,
is
die
not
Altstadt,
properly
echt. Also,
trained. I'll be
du bist
leaving
schnell
now.
rumgelaufen.
Please
Normal.
wait, Mr. Miller.
Hoffentlich steht
As
das
I
Fahrrad noch.
firmly
Das ist
stated my
natürlich...
decision, the branch manager was
wichtiger.
visibly shocked and glared at
Oder ich glaube,
David.
da hinten ist nicht mehr viel.
David, apologize to Mr. Miller now.
I'm very sorry.
Under the branch manager's pressure,
Kastanien?
David finally
Walnuss?
apologized.
Leute.
When pressed about why he targeted me for harassment,
Ja, ich
David
dachte auch,
said it was
Walnuss
because
ist
he
doch
was
Walnut.
frustrated with the never-ending customer
müsste
service
Kastanie
and
sein,
crowded
Chestnut.
conditions, using me as an
Ich
outlet
glaube
for
auch
his
Kastanie,
stress.
ja.
The harassment was not frequent,
Ah,
but
hier sind die
targeted at
ganzen
seemingly
Fahrräder.
docile customers to
Da
skip
stehen
their
einfach mal 4
numbers
Fahrräder.
and relieve stress. Hearing this, the branch manager was
Die
speechless.
Italiener, die lieben echt nur
Of
das
course,
Rennrad.
I
Ne? Die
couldn't
nehmen ihr
believe it
Rennrad
either.
raus, fahren
I was a fool to
Fahren
trust
auf ihre
you.
Straße
I will report this matter
und
to the
dann
bank
gehen sie wieder
president.
heim und stellen es daheim ab.
Please, not that.
Aber so
I'm so sorry.
freizeittechnisch fährt kaum
Anything
einer mit dem
but
Fahrrad.
losing my
Das
job.
wundert mich total.
It was
Ich
too
hätte
late
gedacht, in
for
Italien fahren alle
apologies.
mit dem Fahrrad rum.
Despite being given
Boah,
a
schau
chance
euch diese
to
Fassaden
apologize earlier, David refused
Wow.
to acknowledge his actions. The branch manager and
Bilder,
bank
das ist
employees glared
Postkartenformat.
at David, shrunk in size.
Ist doch Walnuss?
That arrogant man I first met was nowhere in sight.
Hat doch recht, ist Kastanie,
Following
Leute.
this, David was reprimanded by the branch manager for losing a major client
auch, dass
and was
Kastanie
reported
ist.
to the bank president, facing severe
Kastanienbaum,
criticism.
Chestnut, ja.
He was further reported to the president of the bank on the matter and was struck with a severe thunderbolt,
Ah, hier ist das andere Stadttor.
aspiring for promotion from assistant branch manager.
Andere Altstadttor.
David received a poor
Das erinnert mich so ein
evaluation from the
bisschen
bank
an
president,
Rotenburg ob der Tau
permanently
war, ne?
losing his chance for advancement.
Wo du außen
His
die moderne
customer service
Stadt hast
attitude,
und dann
insidious harassment,
in diesen,
and outlandish behavior
Mauern
became an
hast du
issue,
dann
leading to his unprecedented
Altstadt.
dismissal. As the assistant
Kastanie.
branch manager of a mega bank,
Mich aber
David
ruhig.
had a
Dachte schon.
substantial salary and a comfortable
ich
life,
halluziniere hier.
but after being fired, he struggled to find work and had to downgrade his living situation. He could not secure a decent job and failed to interview at other banks due to his inherent personality. David now barely makes ends meet with part-time jobs, leading his family to lose patience. His wife divorced him,
Moin, Sherry.
taking a large sum in
heißt das
alimony
Dorf
and
hier?
depleting his savings.
Muss man
The
nochmal schauen.
high-earning banker's life turned upside down, searching for jobs at the employment office. If he had
Sehr
sincerely
hart, 1000
apologized to
Höhenmeter
me,
abgerissen.
he could have avoided this worst-case
Jetzt sind wir hier in so
scenario.
einem...
But David chose his own
Wir wohnen in
thorny
den
path.
Bergen gerade.
With David
Sagen wir
gone,
mal in den
the bank
Hügeln.
regained its peace,
Bei den
and the
Hügeln ist ein
employees
Dorf,
seemed
aber da ist
relieved
nichts mehr
to work
los.
there.
Deswegen sind wir jetzt in die
Later, the
nächstgrößere
branch
Stadt.
manager and the bank president came
In die
to
nächste größere
apologize
Stadt
to me,
gefahren.
compensating for the mental distress caused by making me wait for a long time.
Wie heißt
I
das
didn't
nochmal
need the
hier?
compensation, but they offered to pay me the compensation for making me wait so long and causing me emotional
Satana.
pain. I refused to accept the compensation
Satana?
because I had enough money, but it would be a matter of honor for the mega bank. If they didn't pay the compensation, they gave me double the market price. David
Satana
was a
heißt,
scumbag, and it was refreshing to see him fired. But the branch manager and other employees finally took my side, and I told them I
Guten
felt
Abo.
their good faith and would open an account with
Campingplatz
them.
ist auf so einem Hügel
The
mit
branch
Ausblick.
manager and bank
Mitten
president were
hinten
delighted,
in so
shaking
einem engen
hands
Tal.
firmly, looking forward
ist
to building
keins.
a good relationship.
Vielleicht haben wir guten Blick auf
Since
die
then,
Sterne, ne?
I've
Aber
become a
komplett
premium
ruhig
member,
da.
receiving courteous service without
Und
any
auch
mistreatment at the bank.
keine Familiencamper
The
mit
bank offers
Kindern
excellent
oder
member
Hunden am
benefits
Start.
and
Nur Zelte.
retirement services, ensuring a secure life after retirement. Although I was frustrated
mal
by
kurz
the
was
long
schreiben.
wait and poor service at the time,
Jerry
looking back,
0815
it turned out to be a
Hello, Jerry.
blessing in disguise if it led to David's departure. Now, I'm building factories overseas to help foreigners looking for work, teaching them about fashion design. Fashion design skills will benefit the future, and I'm saving up assets to support those who want to start their own businesses. I thought to myself, I can spend $100 million, so I want to spend it on something meaningful and for the benefit of others.